Chapter 6 Opulence of the Absolute. Opulence of the Absolute is its mightiness, richness, splendor, magnificence, and abundance. God is the Supreme Being who is truly divine, eternal, and pure consciousness. God, Brahman, is Nirakar and Nirguna without any form or shape. The pure Brahman, Shri Sai, for the sake and the love of devotees, appeared in Saguna Brahman body form to guide and provide peace and solace to mankind from the scorching heat of the burning world with infinite miseries, sufferings and sorrows. A simple-looking fakir, Sai Baba of Shirdi, had at his disposal all the opulence of God, and still he lived as a simple fakir, delivering the great message that only after renouncing worldly objects, Maya, one can live happily in bliss of God. Credentials of God were present in His grace and blessings that could turn hopeless situation to hopeful one and misfortune to fortune. He was God in human form and embodiment of compassion, mercy and kindness. Lighting of the lamps with water and extinguishing devastating blaze, fire, just with the few drops of water and controlling forces of nature, or some miraculous incidents that establishes the mightiness of humble-looking fakir of Shirdi. This chapter has 8 devotional stories derived from Sri Bhakti Leelamrit, spiritual scripture of Sri Dasganumaharaj. These stories are in glorification of wondrous fakir Sai Baba. Let us bow down in great respect to Sai Baba's lotus feet and pronounce the glory in his praise. Rajadiraj, Yogiraj, Parabrahma, Sri Sachidanand Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki Jai, and begin the Parayan of the 6th chapter, Opulence of the Absolute. Opulence of the Absolute. Shri Sai Shirdivasi Katha. When young-looking fakir Sai Baba arrived in Shirdi, he was seen dwelling and meditating under the neem tree before moving to an old and dilapidated mosque. Baijabai, mother of Taya Kote Patil, used to offer him food under the neem tree like her own son, which Baba remembers till his last breath and saved her Tatya son from unfortunate death. The tree under which Baba used to sit and meditate, the leaves of that tree lost its bitter taste due to vicinity of divine fakir. To memorize this place as the first appearing place of Sai Baba, it was declared to be Sri Guru Sthan, where Charan Paduka symbolic feet were installed with the consent and blessings of Sai Baba. There were some celestial conversations between Sri Sai and villagers when he arrived to live in Shirdi. The villagers passing by were very astonished to see young lad sitting under the tree. They were very curious to know about him and his family. The villagers often asked him several questions. Where have you come from? Where do you live? What is your name? What is the reason of your coming? Listening to these sort of unsolicited questions, Shri Sai Maharaj reluctantly used to answer in a denser accent, like the mighty sound of heavy rainfall after a big thunder. Shri Sai used to say, I do not have any permanent home here in this world. I am originally Nirguna, Brahman with no form, but due to the karmic bonds, I am in the form of a body. The body of mine is made from 5 elements of nature. There is a boat inside the body, and that is what I am. The whole world, universe is my dwelling abode. Everyone here is like my own family. Simply understand that I belong to everyone and everyone belongs to me. Brahma, God has created me with the aid of Maya. Maya is my mother. With the desire and wish of God, I am in a human form. Shri Sai, Shopkeeper's Katha. This is an historical instance when Sai Baba ablaze the earthen lamps filled with water instead of oil on the eve of Deepavali to illuminate the mosque. On that day, the shopkeeper of Shirdi unitedly decided not to render alms, and they refused to donate oil to Sai Baba. But with the divine will and wish, Sai Baba burnt the lamps filled with water instead. This miraculous incident made villagers to believe that Sai Baba wasn't an ordinary fakir but an incarnation of God. Shri Sai used to light up 4 to 5 earthen lamps during the night in masjid. On the eve of Deepavali, Shri Sai went to the shopkeepers of Shirdi village and asked, "Donate me some oil. I want to light up the lamps and illuminate the masjid as done in the temples." Shopkeepers said, "Baba, oil is no more. It is finished. Go to the next shop." Shri Sai went to all the shops and everyone made some excuse or the other for not giving the oil. It looked like all of them collectively made up their minds not to give oil to Baba that night. Listening to their answers, Shri Sai was a little surprised, but he remained calm and quiet. He said to himself, "These people are telling lies and throwing human values down to the drain. By telling lies, they are going away from God and harming their inner self. Just for 1/4 of a coin worth of oil, they are telling a lie and thereby incurring sins that will damage their future prospects." One who speaks untrue words is the kind of sinners, and such people can never obtain the grace and blessings of God. One who speaks the truth is always blessed with happiness and prosperity. All types of worship and prayers cannot surpass the truth. Truth is the wisdom and virtue. Truth is the way to moksha. Truth is the river of joy. Never be afraid to speak truth. How would the lamps be lightened without oil? The shopkeepers of Shirdi village started discussing with one another and slowly went to the masjid in curiosity to see what Sai Baba would do then. They saw Baba keeping the earthenware lamps on the walls of the masjid and placing little cotton wicks in them. One of the shopkeepers said, "It looks like this fakir will anyhow light up the lamps today." A second one said, "Oh, my friends, fakir has gone crazy. There is no oil and he's pretending to light up the lamps." A third one said, "This fakir is trying to sow seeds in the stone. He is dreaming to have a child from an unfertile woman." Oh, my dear friends, oh, knowledgeable ones, just imagine, how can the desire of such fakir be fulfilled? A fourth shopkeeper said, "This fakir is the king of mad ones. There is no oil, and he is dreaming to light up the lamps." Now what Shri Sai did, he took the empty oil pot, which had few droplets of oil stacked to the walls, and filled it with water. He swallowed the water and immediately spat it back into the pot. The water got mixed with the few leftover drops of oil in the pot. Then slowly and steadily, Baba started pouring a little of this water into the lamps, just enough to moisten the cotton wick in them. Very soon, all the lamps were lighted. The lamps burned the whole night, just with the affection of water poured by Sai Baba. All the villagers were amazed to see such an exceptional wonder. Everyone present there realized that Sai Baba was not an ordinary fakir, but a majestic one, who possessed divine powers by which he can convert impossible to possible. They would now believe for sure that Sai Baba is the incarnation of God. After experiencing the divine miracle, the villagers of Shirdi fell at the feet of Sai Maharaj. The shopkeepers regretted and bent down to plead forgiveness and said weeping, "We lied and disobeyed you, and by doing so we have committed a severe offense in your honor. Even then, you have neither condemned nor cursed, and instead remained very calm and peaceful. For you, we are your unwise children. You are our mother. Mother always forgives her children for their mistakes. You are an ocean of compassion and wisdom. You are extremely kind and merciful. You are like a river of goodness. You are like a mountain of peace and stability. Sai Maharaj, we beg your pardon. Please forgive our mistakes and offenses. Shri Sai said to the shopkeepers, "Listen to my words very carefully. You should do noble and virtuous deeds and perform your duties in such a way that Hari is pleased and satisfied with you. Never lie and nor speak false words. Always speak true words and be honest. Never engage yourself in fraudulent activities and never misguide others. Spend money on your righteous deeds and don't waste it unnecessarily. Donate according to your ability and capability. If you do this, it will bring you good fortune, and one day you will be able to meet Sri Hari, attain the Supreme Being. What I say is true, and keep this in your mind forever." Shri Sai Chandorkar Katha. Sai Baba taught lesson to Chandorkar and his 3 friends, that is, to obey the orders of Sadguru. One who does not follow instructions, he faces hardships in life. Nana Sahib Chandorkar often came to Shirdi to seek Sai Baba's blessings. Sometimes he used to bring his friends and relatives along with him. Once he was there with 3 friends, but 2 of them were not true friends indeed, which he did not know. They were clever and selfish. Baba instructed Nana to associate only with true friends who could stay with him until his last breath and contribute to spiritual growth. Chandorkar and his 3 friends were about to leave Shirdi after Shri Sai Darshana to board the train from Nagar railway station. Shri Sai said to Chandorkar, "You must eat food before you leave for your onward train journey." Hearing the instructions of Shri Sai, Chandorkar put on hold his travel and said to his friends, "Let us first eat food and then we will go to the station." Both Chandorkar and Kangavarkar obeyed to the order of Shri Sai and ate food and did not care for the train. But the other 2 friends, Ramdas, Haridas and Bapu Nagarkar, left without eating food because they feared that they would get late and miss the train. So they did not bother to obey Sai Baba's instructions to eat food, and they went away, leaving Chandorkar. After having food, Chandorkar went to Shri Sai to seek consent and blessings. Shri Sai said, "See them. Your 2 friends who had left without eating, how arrogant are they? They left their friends with whom they had come to Shirdi. They are too clever and very selfish. They are only worried about their own self. O Chandorkar, you must associate with those friends who remain with you till the end of this world. Friend who leaves his friend in the middle for his selfishness is not a friend indeed. Friends should be like the flowers whose fragrance doesn't fade away. Now begin your journey, and you must remember what I said. The train will still take some more time to arrive." Chandorkar reached the railway station and found his other 2 friends sitting there, hungry and thirsty, and the train was running late by 3 hours. Shri Sai Kulkarni Katha. One who comes to the refuge of Sai Baba, he is protected from all sorts of sufferings in life. Appa Kulkarni was the clerk in Revenue Department posted in Ahmednagar. He was found guilty of fraudulent activity and was summoned to the court in Nivasa, district Ahmednagar. He was very afraid of the consequences. He came to Sai Baba and pleaded for help and protection. Baba, being very kind and merciful, saved him from his misfortune. Kulkarni was to go to Nagar to attend the proceeding of the court. Before departing, he came across to Sai Baba, with folded hands and prayed in grief. O Satya Purusha, you are embodiment of Srinivasa, you are all knowledgeable. I am in a very critical situation. I am a government servant. I have been accused of fraud of government revenue. Whether I am guilty or not, you know very well. Nothing is hidden from you. You know what all is happening in Trilok, and I am sure you also know about my matter too. I am seriously trapped in this fraudulent case. I pray you to save me from getting maligned and defamed. After saying so, Kulkarni fell on the feet of Shri Sai and started crying and weeping miserably. Kulkarni further said, O Shri Sainath, when Kuber is near us, why should we go anywhere else? Those fish that live in Shir Sagar, ocean of bliss, cannot live in the ordinary water. Baba, you are my mother and father. There is no one other to protect me. I pray at your lotus feet to help and save me from this grave situation. Children of Kamdhenu, cosmic cow with holy milk, do not wish to drink milk of any ordinary cow. Fruits of Kalpa Vriksha fall on people under its shade. They don't fall anywhere else in bushes. I plead you to hear me and protect me. If you do not consider my prayers and do not save me, then who is going to look after me? I am not saved. I will be defamed, and this may malign your repute too. As I am your child, have mercy on me. Pathetic prayers of Appa Kulkarni touched the heart of Sai Maharaj, and he sympathetically said, Appa, you do what I say. The deputy collector is in Nivasa, which is near to the bank of river Pravana. Go there and meet the collector personally. Explain him everything and don't be afraid. Nivasa is a holy land where Almighty Lord Vishnu is present in the form of Mohini Raj, female incarnation. Saint Gyaneshwari has also prayed in this temple and has obtained the blessing to write Bhavarth Deepika, well known as Gyaneshwari. Lord is present there in the form of Mohini, Lord Vishnu. Devotees also call him Allah Ilahi. By seeking his blessing, the ignorant become intelligent. He is very kind and merciful. Go to this holy place with faith and confidence. Meet the deputy collector with folded hands. Pray before him. Do not hide anything. Tell him everything. God will surely save you from getting defamed. Kulkarni did as he was instructed by Shri Sai. He also wrote a letter explaining his innocence. The deputy collector was satisfied with his explanation. He gave a decision in the favor of Kulkarni and issued an order of his acquittal. Kulkarni came back happily to Shirdi and respectively bowed down at the lotus feet of Shri Sainath. Shri Sai said to Kulkarni, God is the ultimate. He is the reason behind everything. He is the one who looks after his devotees and makes impossible things possible for them. Shri Sai paints a katha. One who have unlimited desire to meet Sadguru, the pure wish is soon fulfilled by God. Painsi's wife has boundless desire to seek blessings of Sai Baba, but her husband did not want her to go. He was of the opinion that Sai Baba was a Muslim fakir and not a true saint, whose darshan could not be advantageous. With the grace of God, very soon coincidence occurred and Painsi had to go Shirdi for some official work, and his wife also went along with him. Painsi's wife requested her husband that she wanted to go to Shirdi and take darshana of divine Saint Sai Baba, as she had heard that his blessing is incredible. Painsi replied to his wife, "Oh beautiful, listen to me. There is no saint in Shirdi, nor any noble person in Shirdi village, whom you are so eager to see and who can really benefit you. Yes, there is a Muslim person who is just an ordinary fakir. He pretends to be very spiritual and knowledgeable, but fools the entire world in unusual ways. He has established his den in a masjid. Poor and innocent people come under his influence and assume him to be a true saint. Don't go for his darshana. It is useless even to think about it. Like salt cannot taste sweet, this fakir who is deceiving people can never be an honorable saint. I believe that you don't know that he is just a beggar who goes from door to door in all the houses of Shirdi village and beg for food to fill his stomach. Painsy's wife heard the adverse comments of her husband, but she did not pay any heed. Her faith in Sai did not shatter, rather increase. With this incident, her desire to see Shri Sai increased. She was always pondering when would she get an opportunity to go to Shirdi and when she would get the privilege to bow down her head on the lotus feet of Shri Sai. These type of optimistic thoughts were emerging within her mind and she was excited to go to Shirdi. God listens to the righteous desires of his devotees and fulfills their wishes. Unexpectedly, within few days, Pansy was asked to go to Shirdi for some official assignment. His wife requested him to take her along so that she could have darshan of Shri Sai and he could finish his official work. Pansy agreed to his wife's request and took her along to Shirdi. On reaching Shirdi, Pansy went to fulfill his official obligation and his wife went to seek blessings of Shri Sai in the masjid. When she bowed her head at the lotus feet of Shri Sai, she felt enormous peace and satisfaction. Her heart throbbed with eternal bliss and joy. Later, she told her husband, I took darshan of Shri Sai and he is a divine soul. He is the purest saint and true incarnation of God. I could not see any deficiencies in him. He is like a treasure of mercy and goodness. You should not criticize him. If possible, you must also have his darshan. On the appeal of his wife, Pansy went to masjid for darshana of Shri Sai. As soon as he came near to the masjid, Shri Sai came out of masjid and picked up a stone and screamed at him, If you come any closer and step inside the masjid, I will beat you with this stone. I am deceitful sage. I am a Muslim beggar. I belong to the low caste. Then why have you come to me now? You are a Brahmin by caste and belong to a high-class family. By touching my feet, you will get dirty and filthy. Listening to the furious words of Shri Sai, Pansy remembered the disparaging words that he had spoken about Sai Baba to his wife some time ago. Those are being echoed. He was stunned and ashamed of himself. He thought again, how could Shri Sai, while sitting in Shirdi, come to know all that happened between him and his wife 100 miles away? Now Shri Sai was making him aware of all those words he had spoken to his wife about him. Pansy was amazed to realize that Shri Sai knew everything that is happening in the world and nothing is hidden from him. So he said to himself, Baba, you are omnipresent and omniscient. Please forgive me and my mistakes. Shri Sai Kulkarni Katha. Sai Baba reveals the knowledge of the sacred Gita. Sai Baba said, Body is mortal, hence can be destroyed, whereas soul is immortal, therefore cannot be destroyed. Body is useful to accomplish spiritual goal of life. When the body is old, sick, damaged or non-functional, then the mission of soul cannot be carried further in life. Hence, the soul leaves the body and subsequently enters the new body. Like the clothes when get old, ragged or unusable, are thrown away and new clothes are worn. Similarly, when body becomes useless, it is discarded by soul. Soul is immortal because it is not a physical body that can die or be killed. One day, Shri Sai said to Kulkarni, Thieves have entered our village. This is true and certain. These thieves are very unusual. They don't steal things from the house. Their eyes are on the most valuable thing of a person, and they steal that most desirable thing very efficiently upon their wish. These thieves are not visible, so they cannot be caught. They are very shrewd. These thieves are going to enter your house and are going to attack on you. You must be prepared and make all arrangements for your safety. The same night, Kulkarni fell sick with acute cholera. His body became cold and his breath became unsubstantial. His condition became very critical. Kulkarni's wife came running to Shri Sai. Her eyes were moist and she fell on Shri Sai's feet. She requested Baba to save her husband. While weeping, she said, "Baba, my husband is dying of cholera. O Sai Maharaj, the boat of my life is about to sink in the ocean. Please save my boat. Give me some blessings of Odi so that my husband is saved." Shri Sai said to Srimati Kulkarni, "Do not grieve. The one who is born will have to die. Death will occur one day. Birth and death are under the control of God. Everyone has to go from this world one day. After the end of this life, another life begins. So why are you grieving and getting depressed? Open your inner eyes of knowledge, intellect, and see that neither anyone is born nor anyone dies. The soul in the body never dies, nor it is born. It just continues its journey to the next destination. Everyone is governed by this law of nature. No one is free from this law. So can you get away from this? The law is applicable to everyone. And it is a certain like the polar star." Baba said, like clothes, when they get old and torn, the person throws them away and replaces them with new ones. Similarly, the body is like a cloth. When the body gets old and damaged or it is unusable, the soul does not like to remain there anymore. The soul leaves the useless body and migrates to a new body. Soul is the tiny particle of energy of eternity, and it is immortal, non-destroyable, and infinity. Don't ask me to give you Udi. You should not try to stick a patch on a torn cloth. Don't try to stop him in the name of Udi. Let him go to his next destination. In front of my eyes, he is about to change his clothes. New clothes are in front of him, and he is getting ready to wear them. Don't create an obstacle in his new journey. Appa is going to obtain Sadgati, spiritual headway, and going forward, he will attain moksha, salvation. Whatever truth is occurring in front of you, let it happen. Don't grieve unnecessarily and don't mourn anymore. Shri Sai asked Srimati Kulkarni to go back home. In front of her eyes, Appa's soul left the human body to begin its spiritual journey. Shri Sai Kundya Sutar Katha. This Katha reveals the essence of Isho Upanishad, that God is supreme. He is the cause and reason of everything happening in this universe. God is the creator and owner of everything. Nothing is beyond him. Whatever happens is ordained by him, and it is ultimately good for everyone. One should be satisfied and contented from what one has obtained and should remain in deep gratitude of God. Once, Shri Sai suddenly said to Kundya Sutar, "Run quickly to your fields. Fire has broken out there and it is about to reach your crops. Extinguish fire and save your crops." Hearing Shri Sai's instructions, Kundya got scared and immediately ran to his fields. But he could not find any fire. He searched everywhere and asked people around, but failed to see any blaze. Kundya returned to Shri Sai and said, "Baba, you have made me run to fields unnecessarily. I ran instantly, bare feet without my shoes. Due to the scorching heat of the summer and the burning soil, I got my feet burned, but I could not find any fire there." Shri Sai said to Kundya, "My words can never be incorrect. Look behind you. Smoke is coming out from your fields. Dry crops are lying all over the field. The center one is under fire. informed the villagers to go to other fields immediately and save their crops from burning. The terrible heat of the summer, the sizzling storms, the wrecked twigs of the trees, and the thatched roofs of the houses were hovering in the strong wind. All these worse things were creating horrible scene. The devastating fire in the field was spreading rapidly. Seeing the destructive situation, the villagers got very scared and came back running to Shri Sai for help and protection. Kondya and the villagers cried for help and said, "Baba, our crops in the fields are burning. They are under severe fire and all crops will be burned in no time. Maharaj, please save us." The villagers of Shirdi pleaded to Shri Sai. "We are poor farmers. Our crop is our life and agriculture is our only livelihood. If the crops are burned, then we will not be left with any food to eat. Our children will cry for food and ultimately they will die of hunger. Our pets and animals will also be forced to die due to the want of food and fodder. O Sai Maharaj, protect our life. This disaster will cause us lots of misery. Kindly do something very quickly. We know you can do anything because you are yourself Sri Hari. You knew it even before the fields were on fire. You know everything, Baba. You're omniscient. You know what is happening in the three worlds." Listening to the pathetic prayers of Kondya and the villagers, the kind and merciful Shri Sai instantly reached the fields. He poured little water from tumbril he was carrying in his hands and sprinkled over the fire. Soon the fire started diminishing. Shri Sai said, "The center portion of the crop will be burned, and all other crops will not be affected by the fire. The center portion is the share of the fire, and fire will only take this portion. No one can stop it from consuming its share." What happened after that was exactly what Shri Sai had said. Only center portion of the crop was burned, and the rest of the crops were saved. Shri Sai had the control over the 5 elements of nature. Villagers were very pleased with that kind of act of Shri Sai Maharaj. In the evening, Kondya, Nana Bhakchan Marwari and the villagers gathered in the masjid. Shri Sai said, "Look at this Bhakchan. Today his crops were burned to ashes. He is in deep sorrow. Always remember that loss or profit and birth or death is under the control of God. Everyone knows this, but they are so stupid that they are not able to accept the consequences of that and grieve unnecessarily. They are happy only if they are in profit. As soon as they have some loss, they start crying. When you say, 'This is mine,' is it really yours for sure? How can you say that it is mine?" Baba continued, "The crops which were burned did not belong only to Marwari. The husk of the crops was the fodder for the animals. The crops were grown in the womb of earth by sowing seeds. Earth has given life to the seeds. The clouds showered water on them in the form of rainfall. The sun has given the light and energy by which they have blossomed. In this way, there are 3 owners of these crops: earth, sun, and sky. These 3 elements of nature together made the harvest ready. Then, how does this Marwari claim that these crops are his? Fire forcefully snatched its share by burning it, because the sun has been the primary source of its life. The earth has made some contribution, but it never got any share. Instead, it had to bear the warmth of the fire. The sky also made some efforts in its growth, but did not get anything in return. The clouds of the sky are not bothered about all that, as they are busy roaming here and there in the sky. Clouds silently kept on watching from the sky. The earth gave life to the seeds and laid the crops on its chest. But the sun astoundingly established its authority and burned the crops by its fire energy and took the crop away. Everything in this world is created by the 5 elements of nature: sky, water, earth, fire, and air. So, they are the actual owners of everything in this world. Nothing in this world is owned by us, nor we are the actual owner of these worldly things. O Marwari, when all these things are not created by you, then why do you keep saying that this is mine, that is mine, or make false allegations? Why are you in sorrow when they are not yours? Why are you weeping, lamenting, and having useless tears before me? Shri Sai further said, God gives by one hand and after some time takes it back from you. He actually takes his own things after giving it to you. The things that belong to him, why do you claim these as yours? Why do you pronounce your possessiveness and authority over him? Why are you happy when you get them from God, and why do you cry and weep when he takes it back from you? Are you not aware of this? Are you ignorant about it? Due to ignorance, you are influenced and affected by happiness or sufferings. Shri Sai Haripant Katha. Wondrous Fakir Sai Baba, whose blessings turns misfortune to fortune and convert the most hopeless situations to a favorable one. Utmost kind and compassionate for the devotees, he is often referred to Bhakta Vatsala. His words are always true, and his blessings bring great fortune. One who comes to his periphery becomes pure and pious and enjoys the divine grace, even if he is not eligible or miserable one. Haripant Sathe came for the darshana of Sai Baba. Shri Sai said to him, You are a fortunate person, Hari. Shiva is very kind to you. He will bless you with a son. Your wish will be fulfilled. You should organize for your second marriage. Haripant was a staunch Brahman devotee. He was born in Vasishtha Gotra, in the clan of high-class Brahmins known as Vasishtha. He was Agnihotri Brahmin and a very intelligent one. He lived in the sacred land of Pune. He wanted to become pious Brahmin and therefore he wished to follow all religious rituals of Agnihotra, Brahmins who perform yajna through rituals of fire. But the difficulty was that his wife had passed away. Without a wife, the activities of rituals were not allowed according to Hindu dharma. He had a lot of wealth, but he did not have any children. He said to Shri Sai, Although my heart is eager to have a garden of fortune, but how is it possible? Neither I have dug any well, nor there is any hope of any water. So having the desire of plants and flowers is useless. Therefore, after digging a well, I do not want to become a subject of jest. I have desire to get married, but due to my age, I do not want to be mocked by others. I am already over 50 years old, and a desire for a child in this age is not possible. I do not think I am so fortunate. Shri Sai said to Haripant, Do not have any doubts. To fulfill the wish and desire of innocent devotees, Lord Shiva, Bholinath, with a trishul pointed weapon in his hand, shall convert impossible things to possible ones. He is a God with enormous mercy and kindness. The Almighty Shiva Shankara, Lord Shiva, is indebted to you. He will certainly fulfill your wishes. Haripant said to Shri Sai, My astrologer was also of the same opinion, but now, after the stamp of your blessings, I will surely perform it, and go ahead as per your instructions. With the blessings of Shri Sai, Haripant soon got married. In the garden of this world, the blessings of Shri Sai brought immense happiness to him and his wife. They became like a mango tree. With the blessings of Shri Sai, the tree was soon loaded with new leaves, flowers and fruits. The flowers of happiness blossomed into their life. Shri Sai had said quietly right that Pants should not worry. Shri Sai is like the knowledgeable sun in the whole sky, whose blessings have always been fruitful. His blessings can make impossible things possible. His grace and mercy is unbelievable. Even if the seeds are not worthy of sowing, the clouds of His grace and mercy is more than enough to make them fertile, blossom, and bear the fruits. Needless to say, Shri Sai's blessings on Haripant brought immense pleasure and happiness to his life. Shri Sadguru Sainath Arpanamastu Shubham Bhavatu.